Hey everybody, it's Troy. The votes are in, and Brazil's Trump, the fascist Jair Bolsonaro, has been defeated by leftist candidate Lula da Silva. Check out some of the reactions in Brazil from that election.
O presidente derrotado já teria ligado para mim reconhecer a derrota. Ele até agora não ligou. Não sei se vai ligar e não sei se vai reconhecer. Eu acho que o povo já chega de sofrer. Não é possível um povo tão bondoso, um povo tão carinhoso, um povo que gosta de música, um povo que gosta de samba, um povo alegre, sofrer tanto por um governo fascista que não gostava do povo, que não gostava de negro, que não gostava de indígena.
Bolsonaro was a right-wing fascist president. He became famous for cracking down on LGBTQ rights, for cracking down on Brazil's indigenous population. His plan was basically to completely destroy the Amazon rainforest, to build a highway through it, to promote mining and agriculture, tearing up these indigenous lands. Bolsonaro by himself represented a tremendous threat to global climate. This was a president who had control over the Amazon rainforest, which is so vital to the ecosystems of the world. This man planned to basically destroy that environment, that ecosystem, which would have had tremendously negative consequences on global climate change. His opponent, Lula da Silva, was president of Brazil in the early 2000s. He's a leftist candidate, became famous for eradicating massive amounts of poverty in Brazil, just a tremendously popular candidate. This was a runoff election. It was very close, but Lula da Silva will now be the president of Brazil and hopefully undo a lot of the incredibly damaging policies that Bolsonaro implemented in that country over the last few years. In looking at this election and what just happened in the United Kingdom with the resignation of Liz Truss, the fact that the Conservative Party in that country is polling at an 11% approval rating, people are sick and tired of fascism. They're sick and tired of trickle-down economics, of supply-side economics. They're sick and tired of the racism, the division, the hatred, the bigotry. We want to get back to normal. The entire world wants to get back to normal. And this Brazil election is a bellwether of what could happen next week in the United States midterms. People showed out in Brazil to kick Bolsonaro out of office the same way they showed up in the United States to say no to President Trump and his MAGA fascist violence and bigotry. The people of Brazil celebrating tonight after electing Lula da Silva, who is a competent president who has the best interests of the nation at heart. 1 week out from the midterm election, let's take this Brazil victory as a bellwether of what could happen next week in the midterms. People showing up for democracy, rejecting fascism, rejecting MAGA republicanism in the United States, as they are rejecting it all over the world. Now, the one exception that we've seen to this was the election in Italy, where the fascist party won in Italy. But let's be clear about something. The way elections work in Italy is you have multiple major parties running in a parliamentary system, which means there was like 6 major parties on the ballot, which means that you could win with a plurality rather than a majority of votes, which is exactly what happened in Italy. The Fratelli Party in Italy, which is the fascist party, it's the grandchild party of Mussolini, won that election with 25% of the vote. So not a majority of Italians, not even close to a majority of Italians supported that fascist party. It won with a plurality of 25%. really due to people just being complacent in that election and not showing up, and sort of a lot of like what we saw in 2016 in the United States, just people angry about all of their choices and just not liking any candidate, and so choosing not to show up. That's really what happened in Italy. This Bolsonaro defeat is just sending shockwaves across the fascist right all over the world. Trump had predicted a Bolsonaro victory. He really had identified with Bolsonaro and his policies. They called Bolsonaro the Brazilian Trump. All of Trump's MAGA supporters, really all over the world, had predicted a Bolsonaro victory because they're so far up their own ass. They really don't see that people, how opposed to their ideology people really are. So this is coming as a tremendous shock to them. And already you have the garbage right on Twitter. The same folks that spread the big lie about the election in the United States, already these folks are pumping out those same bullshit conspiracy theories about the Brazilian election, questioning vote changes in the middle of the night and suggesting that election was stolen, just really following the same script that they used in the 2020 election in the United States. Just pathetic, absolutely pathetic that these people can't accept the fact that their movement is dying, that democracy is winning all over the world, and that people are fed up with fascism and especially MAGA fascist bullshit in the United States, and they will lose, and they will lose bad in the midterms if people show up and vote to defend their democracy. For MeidasTouch, this is Troy. Remember, smash that subscribe button to keep supporting independent media.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy, and look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs, It Wasn't Rigged, You're Just a Loser, at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.